So I just watched a reel where a person describes something that they do, something creative, through the framing of do this, defied patriarchy or misogyny, whatever. And that was about photography. And it got me thinking about what we do quite often as humans. We define things through rejection. But whenever anyone defines something or builds something upon rejection, that is the strongest attachment to it, ironically. And I see that over and over again. So instead of rethinking and building from scratch, building anew what it means to be human, what it means to be in a body of a woman or a man, how would we want to be, feel, treat each other if no fear existed, if no history existed? It's not an easy question, though. And it may require time, it may require collaboration, but it's productive. What we do instead, gosh, we, first of all, are trapped in blaming each other and pointing fingers, and that takes enormous amount of time, energy. And basically, when I turn on YouTube or whatever, turn on YouTube is, I'm still thinking in TV terms. Like every podcaster, every news outlet, whatever. So every blogger and every influencer who comments on the world issues, like 95% of those reports or 99% of those reports are about who's guilty. And I think it is important to a degree that law enforcement or people whose job is to protect others, it's important for them to know those things. But us, all of us, trapped into these conversations, trapped into this endless processing of what is wrong, instead of building something that is right, and building needs to happen from scratch. So when people frame something as anti the thing, as against this, they basically attach what they create to that thing. I'm against religion, so I attach myself to religion. I'm against patriarchy, I attach myself to the idea of patriarchy. It's like putting those glasses on and looking through that lens on everything that you create. First of all, it's a very narrow view. Secondly, it does the opposite of what a person wants to do. And I know it's not that easy to detach from those ideas, because first I detached from ideas that should be, and then I was able to see the potential to create something from scratch. Like if I have a certain type of body, which is female body, if I have a certain ideas that I want to implement in this life, and if those ideas don't match the roles that society assigned to a woman, how else do I want to build my life? And it never worked for me when I was trapped into the definitions, because quite often this I see with traditional roles like relationship roles or gender roles. People still are trapped in between. People still have those labels of feminine this, masculine this, and they're still in between the same old ideas. How about figuring out what it means to be a human who has a body with a certain features, certain type of body parts, what it means to be a human? And then when I asked myself that question, I got stuck. I'm not sure I know the answer. I'm living it. I'm building it as I live. And what I see so far, it's a weird mix of everything, but it makes me who I am. And if anyone wants to define me, some absolutely will see something androgynous, some will see something masculine, some will see something feminine. God bless. I mean, if you want to play with the labels or definitions, it only affects your perception, only affects your vision, and it affected mine. And it is hard to detach. However, it's miraculous when you do. It's miraculous when you actually understand that there is nothing scary in just being. And quite often scary things, what we are afraid of, and some violence and some like negative reactions, some destructive ideas, they also come from the old, from the historical ideas. I don't think that a person who thinks clearly and rationally and is aiming for a peace of mind and fulfilled life, I don't think that person would ever, and the person who is detached from fears and all the triggers that may lead them towards some impulses, I don't think that person wakes up one day and thinks, oh, how about me killing someone? What a wonderful idea would that be? I don't think, no. And when people do think so, they think it will bring them fulfillment or whatever. That's a very distorted perception of life, that's all. But normally, on average, I don't think any person would go there yet. We all get trapped into those emotional states, and those emotional states, and this comes from my perspective, how I lived it and felt it. Every time I was torn apart by something that seemed impossible to to comprehend in the world or whatever, that only meant I was torn between two ideas, and one of those was, or like two ideas is to simplify, like ideas of how things should be, could be dozens, hundreds, thousands of ideas how things should be, and they pressuring on me, they demanding things from me. and something that I feel is right, something that is aligned to some truth, to integrity, to my own authenticity. And that thing is quite often unfamiliar. That thing is unique. That thing is something that I don't see in the world. This is why every time I see that dissonance, I feel that dissonance within me, it only comes from my whole system trying to choose between ideas that I've heard, inherited somehow, and something that is telling me, no, this is all wrong. And when I detach from everything that is out there, quite often what I need to do is take some time to sit with what I feel and decode it, understand what it means, what this feeling is telling me. And this is a dangerous territory, because as I do my research about people who lose their touch with the reality, and those people are with people who have mental health issues, people who well, basically stalkers, let's call it what it is. So in most of those videos, what I see is that they truly believe that God or angel or some dream or some inner feeling told them to do something. So whenever I mention feeling what is true, immediately this image pops in my head, and all the videos that I watched about people who follow their distorted perspective, who follow their delusions, basically. Do I have an easy answer how to discern? I think discernment and self-awareness is a skill that we need to teach as early as possible, and frankly support others in self-aware and rational approach to life. If you ask me, do I have that? Like, I don't have a simple framework like, here, I solved this problem. No. But I guess this is one of the main reasons why I build my own philosophy and do the work that I do, rethinking everything. I do it for myself, clearly, just to feel better and to live a life that I actually like, because I try to live the conventional life. I never liked it. And what I think is that conventional life, well, not only that is very limited, exceptionally limited. It's defined by some labels, and people produce more and more of those labels. It's overwhelming, confusing, never solves anything. It's just like, gosh, instead of figuring out how to be a human and put an effort in this collectively, we keep dividing things and adding labels on a label on a label, mixing and matching label. But that only means that I'm not you, I'm this. And it scares me when people define themselves by diagnoses that they have they think, and I talk to my friends, and it creates an illusion that you have clarity. I get it. But I think it only means in crisis situation, when it's life or death thing and a doctor needs to figure out how to support a patient. In every other situation, I would wish that people were more open to change, to an idea of change. Okay, I don't like that my brain is chaotic. Do I want to hold on to the idea of ADHD or whatever that thing is called? I've never gone to the part, like, I've never been diagnosed, nor am I willing to. If I struggle with focus, I will try everything out there that is not chemical, that is not altering my biology, to figure it out. I'm not discarding the thing that some people do need to alter their biology, but I think a lot of people are playing this game that is unnecessary for them, way too many. And I'm saying that it's not, again, it's a dangerous line between medical advice. It's not a medical advice, obviously. Do consult with professionals. But my experience is that I don't trust fully anything that exists. This is my personal trait. I don't ask you to do so, because that may lead many into conspiracy theories or paranoia or whatever. I'm trying to hold both extremes, and I do that in many areas. I don't trust anything existing fully. And that means that I believe that things change. I believe we grow. I believe we evolve. And what today is true, tomorrow we may find something other. Like we didn't have internet, now we have it. We didn't have AI, now we have it. Things like that. So when people are too certain and fixed in some idea, I'm always skeptical about that, even about simple things. So let's say even in different countries. So you go to a doctor in Ukraine and they prescribe you, I don't know, antibiotics from a cough. I'm not sure if that is true now, but it was the case a while ago. You go to a doctor, to a physician in Canada, and they prescribe you vitamins. And somehow people don't die from cough anyway. So somehow people manage to survive with very different approaches, right? We may argue what's more helpful or not, obviously, but what I'm saying is that people approach things from different directions. So there is holistic approach, there is holistic medicine, meditation, like healing practice, etc., etc. And all of those things, they exist because it works. So there's variety of things that work. It may not work for everyone equally, but there are just as many things that we haven't yet discovered. And that is the thing. And when a person is very fixed into, this is me, first of all, they confirm it. Secondly, they don't search for the answer. That's the problem. So when I meet someone new, and they quite often start with some medical diagnosis, like, oh, I have OCD, ADHD, great, to me, you're just a human being, and we live in an overwhelming world. And if you struggle with processing some things, I think everyone is struggling to a certain degree. Does that make you, do you really want to use that label and play with it? Unless it's absolutely necessary for your functioning in the world. I don't know. So I'm skeptical. I'm not saying everyone should be like me. I'm just sharing that I am skeptical, trusting blindly everything that exists. But I'm also open, and simultaneously, I'm opening to what I don't know. Like, I'm open to a discovery that may be unexpected. Will I trust that discovery blindly? Probably not. But let's say I'm not rejecting it. And it actually brings me back to what I started from. When we are building from rejection, we are not allowing this unknown. We are so focused on being against the thing. So the person who is against religion or against God, let's say rejecting God, against God sounds a little bit off. So a person who rejects God or rejects religion, and that I notice from personal experience, they see God and religion. As soon as they see it, as soon as there is a little bit of resemblance, they react. And that makes them just attached to that religion as the most religious person out there. Very practical example, very like real life example that made me smile with a hint of sadness. So I have this bookstand that I use for my photography books, for my photography albums. And someone that I know came to my apartment, and I know that that person is not a fan of anything religious or related to God. And as they saw that bookstand, their first idea, their first thought was about bookstand used for holding Quran. That never occurred to me. And I do believe in God. But it made me smile in a way, because a person who rejects God and religion so much holds that in them to a degree that a piece of wood that I use for recipes and photography inspiration gave them that idea, immediately returned them to something that they don't want to relate to, but they are so tightly attached to it anyway. So any idea that is built on against something is actually confirming that something. And the reel that I saw today was about creating self-portraits to fight misogyny or patriarchy or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, why on earth And I get it. I mean, there was a really good intention behind it. I'm not criticizing the creator of that, but why on earth? And I do self-portraits, but why on earth would I attach or limit myself with that idea of fighting anything in this world? This is me. This is all fullness of me. This is all beauty of me. This is all expression of me, creativity, joy, sexuality, body, aliveness, energy, so many good things in self-portraits. Why would I ever attach it to something that I don't want that to exist. I don't want my kids or grandkids or new generations even know that word. And I'm not saying we shouldn't do that. I'm not saying like, and frankly, even me, taking exactly the same example, I do self-portraits. I am going to make an exhibition of them. And the topic is how to be in a body of a woman, what it means to me, and what ideas I had to detach from to live a life that is free of the patterns, historical patterns. But can you feel the framing? Basically, it's the same thing. Basically, it's me fighting patriarchy. But I'm not fighting patriarchy. I'm making sense of things. I'm building something with who I am and what I have. Why would I fight patriarchy that is actually attached to an idea of a man? And I love men. I want them to be expressed and happy and fulfilled too. I want them to be free. Like, I want humans to be free of ideas of patriarchy or any archy in that matter. I don't want us to, measure, even, frankly, even when people say matriarchy is a healthier structure, how about being a human as a structure? Do we know that? We don't know that. I can tell you that. We don't know how to be a human. Because it means that we have to see each other as one species, and we don't know. We barely managing the labels, the whole catalog of labels that we have. So, I mean, come on. I clearly don't have everything figured out. I'm just sharing what I processed through my own experience and what works for me, and what does work for me is building what people call from first principles. But when people use that framing, those exact words, usually they mean something in business, something like building rockets from first principles. But I think it applies I need to read about first principles, okay? It's one of those things when I don't feel like I should use the term until I dig deeper and figure out what exactly it means. But from my surface level understanding of it, it means something about physics. And when I speak about building from scratch, it's a little broader than that and includes more of a, let's say, the possibility beyond physics, the possibility beyond the known, the possibility that is what a God could be, what could be done if we don't limit ourselves with what exists. What if we assumed that some miracles are possible? And again, I'm not saying relying on a miracle. No, not in the slightest. No, no, no. Not relying on it, but being open to the unknown, being open to a path that is yours, that is aligned with all the things that we are. And we are many things, many, many things. And often people ignore quite a bit of themselves to fit into the mold of something that already exists, into someone else's pattern. And we measure everything with money and fame, mostly money, I would say. And but we forget that the first person who created something useful and other people appreciated it, they created from scratch. They created something unique, and then everyone realized, oh well, that must work, and they copy the surface level stuff. And if the collective, if everyone agrees to it, yes, it works to a certain degree until it doesn't. But what always works is I want to say, I pause every time I want to use a higher abstract term like what works is alignment to higher truth. And I'm like, okay, Anna, higher truth. That may not be helpful. I'm trying to, it's something that exists on a level, for me, it exists on a level of somatic feelings. So I know when my next step feels true, when I feel like, oh, I should probably go outside and check that restaurant. Oh, probably I should sign off for this class. Doesn't make sense, but somewhat is pulling me towards it. Oh, I should call that person. Just crossed my mind. I haven't talked to them in a while. I mean, those things. So people call it intuition. And quite often we are too rational about our days, about our being, and we say, oh no, I don't have time. Oh no, I have, I prioritize this. And we push ourselves through something planned. And I'm not saying being reckless and chaotic. And I'm in the process of balancing that too. I have a chaotic life, and I want to figure out how to be both, how to align with the next step that I feel is right today, and also be predictable and not canceling my meetings if I have to. Now it's not that I'm letting people down, no, but now it feels like I'm not fully balanced in that approach. Maybe I will never be. Maybe this is the whole point, never be balanced, but we'll see. Anyway, I have lost the track of my thought multiple times here, and what I'm saying is that faith doesn't have to be attached to even any idea of God. Forget it. Just be open to something that you don't know. There's something that maybe no one knows. And building something, build your best. That's what I do. Again, I do it doesn't mean it's perfect. It doesn't mean it's better than other people do. I just do my best. And quite often it's enough for me to feel alive. It's way, way better. I don't feel alive when I follow someone else's patterns. I just don't. I know it for now. Now I know it for sure, 100%. It doesn't feel good. Not because it's bad, but it's just uncomfortable, like somatically uncomfortable, somatically painful. So yeah, this is all. This is all for now. If you have any thoughts, just let me know. And subscribe. I'll do more of these. Way, way, way more of these videos. Thinking about life.